Good day. Thank you for joining us for today's news. If you find this helpful, please consider subscribing. We're here every day with calm, clear updates just for you.
As inflation rebounds and the Federal Reserve maintains its current stance on interest rates, experts predict that CD rates are likely to remain stable through the rest of the summer and into the fall. However, potential rate cuts could lead to a decline in CD rates. In the future, CDS may be beneficial, more competitive rates, if for rest of the summer and into the fall.
Savers are advised to research different CD options and consider high-yield savings accounts for liquidity.
With interest rates on pause this August, savers have a unique opportunity to make strategic moves with long-term CDS. Here are 3 effective actions to consider: depositing as much as possible for an extended period, shopping around for the best rates, and grow your savings over the long term in a stable rate.
Even though current CD rates are lower than they were in 2024, they still offer better returns than traditional savings accounts. English VG dollars deposit in a long-term CD today could still yield significantly more than if it were kept in a savings account, making 西乡部门 solid choice for savers looking to.
The U.S. job market is showing signs of stagnation, with the latest employment data revealing a slowdown in hiring and downward revisions to previous month's figures. Employers added only 19,000 jobs in May and 14,000 in June, according to a research note from EY Parthenon chief. The data reflects a broader uncertainty in the economy fueled by on-again, off-again tariffs and the impact of new GOP tax policies. While some sectors, like healthcare and social assistance, added jobs, others, such as manufacturing, saw job losses at frontier. However, experts argue that the data is the result of meticulous work by government statisticians. Uncertainty around Trump's tariffs has led businesses. Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland President Beth Hammack noted that many companies are struggling to decide when and how much to invest. Some have even scaled back plans for expo. The manufacturing sector in particular has been hit hard, with 11,000 jobs lost in July. This challenges Trump's promise to revive manufacturing jobs through tariffs, has increased cost raise margins. Economists warn that without greater certainty on tariffs, the weak hiring environment, as the administration moves forward with its trade policies, the path to a recovery in the job market remains uncertain.
In a major corporate move, Tesla has granted its CEO, Elon Musk, a $29 billion pay package, consisting of 96 million shares of restricted stock. This decision comes after a Delaware court ruled that Musk's original $56 billion compensation package from 2018 was the result. Analysts believe the new arrangement will ensure Musk remains at the helm of Tesla for the next several years, potentially until 2030, and will motivate him to lead the company through its transition to an AI-first business, requiring Musk to pay Tesla $23.34 per share of restricted stock. If the Delaware courts were to reinstate the original 2018 pay package, the $29 billion award would be immediately forfeited. This decision has sparked debate about corporate governance and the future direction of Tesla as the company faces increasing competition and declining stock performance.
The Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS, recently revised its May and June job numbers, reducing the reported payroll growth by 258,000 jobs. This marks the largest 2-month downward revision since 1968 and has sparked controversy after a crop rate. However, experts emphasize that such revisions are a normal part of the BLS reporting process. The BLS collects data through surveys of households and businesses, and initial reports are based on data reviewage. The ratings are issued as more complete data because sector jobs, with the downward revision for public sector pay of households. Experts argue that the BLS faces long-term challenges in collecting complete data due to declining response rates and economic shocks, but the agency prioritizes bias. The White House has not provided evidence that the revised numbers were manipulated,
In a significant move to avoid escalating trade tensions, the European Union has delayed retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods for 6 months. This decision follows a high-level agreement reached between the European Commission and the U.S. administration in late July, originally set to take effect on August the 7th. The tariffs will now be postponed. The deal includes a 15% tariff on most EU goods but does not yet grant the exemptions for car parts or wine that the EU had sought. This temporary reprieve aims to stabilize prices and reduce sides of the Atlantics. The European Commission has stated it will work closely with the U.S. to filter the agreements.
A man has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the brutal murder and dismemberment of 90-year-old Sade Robinson. The victim was last seen alive at the home of Maxwell Anderson after their first date parts were found across Milwaukee. With her arm washing up on a beach, Anderson was found guilty of multiple charges and denied committing the crime, claiming he was framed. The case has sparked outrage, with Robinson's family calling for justice and describing the lasting impact of the crime on their lives.
More young adults are being diagnosed with early-stage colon cancer due to increased screening rates. According to new research, the American Cancer Society lowered the recommended age for colorectal cancer screening, and this change has led to more early detections. However, disparities in access to screenings remain a concern.
In a controversial move, the CDC has excluded several top medical organizations from the Vaccine Reputation Pro. Groups like the American Medical Association and the American Academy Plotris have called the decision dangerous and irresponsible, warning that it could undermine. Experts argue that the exclusion of these groups may lead to fragmented guidance and weaken the transparency of the process. The move has sparked criticism from former ACIP members and medical professionals who stress the importance of including respected medical organizations in vaccine policy.
A new report in The Lancet reveals that plastic pollution is responsible for at least $1.5 trillion in annual health costs, affecting people from infancy to old age. The study calls for urgent global action as nations prepare to negotiate the first international treaty on plastic pollution.
Scientists have identified the cause of a devastating sea star wasting disease that has killed billions of sea stars along the Pacific coast of North America. Over the past decade, the disease, which has led to a 90% population decline in the sunflower sea star, is caused by a previous sea. The discovery comes after a decade of research and could help restore sea star populations and protect marine ecosystems.
In a shocking 3-day period, Saudi Arabia executed 17 individuals, with the majority convicted of drug-related offenses. State media reported that 2 of the executions were for terrorist crimes, while 15 others were 4-day executions, cravers a fastest pace of drug executions. Human rights organizations, including Reprieve and Amnesty International, have criticized the trend, arguing that these crimes do not warrant capital punishment. Saudi Arabia claims that executions are only carried out after all legal appraisals have been exhausted. Mohammed bin Salman's Vision 2003, a danger. As the world moves toward decriminalizing drug use, Saudi Arabia's stance remains a point of international debate.
Pope Leo X, we received a rock star welcome at the Jubilee of Youth Festival in Rome, where over 1 million young people gathered. The event, part of the 2025 Year of Jubilee, aimed to engage the digital generation and address global issues like war and injustice. The Pope emphasized the importance of young people in shaping a more just and peaceful world, and called for unity and dialogue in resolving conflicts.
Capri Zoo in Denmark is seeking donations of unwanted small pets and horses to feed its captive predators, emphasizing the importance of replicating natural food chains and ensuring animal welfare. The zoo accepts donations of chickens, rabbits, guinea pigs, and horses under specific diets, not passing.
Josh Brolin, known for his iconic roles in Marvel and Dune, is making his horror debut with the film Weapons. In this chilling movie, Brolin plays a father grappling with the disappearance of his child. Exploring delves into the complexities of masculinity and the need for emotional follow. This bold move into the horror genre marks a significant shift in his career, charting his range as an actor and his willingness to take on challenging roles. Weapons is set to open in theaters and IMAX, offering audiences a new and intense experience from the veteran performer.
During a sold-out Oasis concert at London's Wembley Stadium, a fan in his 40s fell and died, sending shockwaves through the music world. The incident occurred during the band's highly anticipated reunion tour, which has drawn massive crowds. A band's co-founders expressed their devastating low. Emergency services were called to the scene after 10 p.m., but the man was pronounced dead at the location. Wembley Stadium released a statement expressing condolences to the man's family and confirmed that the concert would proceed as planned at large music events, with police urging witnesses to come forward. As the band continues its world tour, the tragedy serves as a sobering reminder of the risks that come with such massive gatherings.
Loni Anderson, the beloved actress who brought Jennifer Marlowe to life in the classic sitcom WKRP in Cincinnati, has passed away at the age of 79. Known for her sharp wit and charmant tavernist, Emmy nominations and 3 Golden Globe nods for her role. Beyond her television career, Anderson was also a film star, appearing alongside Burt Reynolds in Stroker Ace. Her life was marked by both success and personal challenges, which she candidly shared in her autobiography. Anderson is survived by her family, and her legacy lodge.
A recent report by Challenger Gray and Christmas reveals that AI is causing a surge in job losses in the United States. Over 10,000 jobs were lost in the first 7 months of 2025. With the technology sector being the most affected, the report highlights the growing impact of AI on the workforce, as well as the influence of GABF.
A new AI-powered app called Balance, developed by security company Aura, is helping parents monitor their children's online behavior and detect early signs of mental health. Hari Ravikandran, after his daughter faced a mental health crisis, and it uses AI to analyze activity. Parents receive reports to encourage open conversations, though some experts argue that regulation is needed for real change. While Balance is not the only tool available, it represents a growing trend in using technology to support children's well-being in the digital age.
A lightning strike that stretched an incredible 515 miles from Texas to Missouri has been confirmed as the longest lightning flash ever recorded. This event, known as a mega flash, took place in 2017 and was only recently tabbed Juice Gimri. While it holds the record for distance, it didn't last as long as another 10. Scientists are excited about the potential of new technologies to uncover even more extreme weather events in the future. This discovery not only highlights the power of nature, but also shows how advancements in science and technology are helping us better understand the world around us.
Potatoes have a surprising origin. They evolved from a hybridization event between the tomato and a wild potato species from Chile. A new study published in the journal Cell reveals that the SP6 gene from the potato were crucial in forming the tubers that make the modern potato. This discovery not only solves a long-standing mystery, but also highlights the importance of genetic diversity in crop evolution.
A powerful 8.8 magnitude earthquake hit the Russian Far East, sending tsunami warnings to coastal areas across the Pacific, including Hawaii and Japan. Experts explain that while the quake was strong, the resulting tsunami was not as devastating as those from larger quakes like the 2011 Tohoku or 2004 Suma 4. Simon Boxall, an oceanography lecturer, says the earthquake occurred along the Pacific Ring of Fire, a region known for frequent seismic activity. He explains that tsunamis happen when the seabed shifts. During an earthquake, the savant points out that the energy difference between an 8.8 and a 9.1 quake can be massive. Dave Snyder, a tsunami warning coordinator, warns that tsunamis are not just waves but ocean floods, emphasizing the need for preparedness as coastal communities remain vulnerable to these natural disasters. The event serves as a reminder of the importance of understanding seismic risks and maintaining disaster.
Travis Eugene Posey has been sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole for the deadly mass shooting at the Mad Butcher grocery store in Fordyce, Arkansas, which killed 4 people and injured 11 others. Posey pleaded guilty to 4 counts of capital murder and 11 counts of attempted. The sentencing was carried out by Judge Spencer Singleton after emotional testimony from the victims' families. Authorities have not identified a clear motive for the attack, and Posey has no known connection to any of the victims. The shooting is part of a disturbing trend of mass shootings.
SpaceX's Crew Dragon capsule has successfully delivered 4 new astronauts to the International Space Station, marking a major milestone in the ongoing human presence on the ISS. The mission highlights the growing role of private companies like SpaceX in supporting human space flight with NASA. The arrival of Crew 11 gas the importance of maintaining a continuous human presence in space as the ISS continues its vital role in scientific research and international collaboration.
NASA and SpaceX have successfully launched Crew 11 to the International Space Station, overcoming a weather delay. The mission includes Commander Zena Cardman, who had previously been bumped from a flight, and marks a significant step in the on-Goddard entry Crew 10, who are set to return to Earth.
Former NASA astronauts Mark and Scott Kelly recently spoke about the challenges facing the U.S. space program, the upcoming SpaceX mission to the International Space Station, and the unique experience of living in space, with NASA facing potential budget cuts. Mark Kelly emphasized the importance of a leader in space element. Scott Kelly shared insights on the emotional and physical challenges of being on the ISS, highlighting the separation from Earth and the importance of space exploration for the future.
The Trump administration has announced new tariff rates on imports from various countries based on trade balances with the U.S. These tariffs include a Signista de 25% to tariffs, Transcaris pare 12%. The tariffs aim to retrade tariffs and supports FISAN. Global financial markets reacted negatively with stock futures declining. The White House has stated it is open to negotiations with countries that haven't reached trade agreements even after the new tariffs take effect.
A tragic double homicide occurred at Devil's Den State Park in Arkansas, where a wife was fatally stabbed after trying to save her husband. Andrew McGann, a former schoolteacher, has been charged with 2 counts of capital murder.
The U.S. job market saw a slowdown in July, with employers adding just 73,000 jobs below economists' expectations. The unemployment rate increased slightly, and revisions to earlier job numbers intake quicker hiring than previous thought. The impact on the Jew. The Federal Reserve may consider rate cuts in the coming months, but policymakers remain cautious about the effects of tariffs on the economy.
That's all for today's news. We appreciate your time. If you enjoyed this update, please consider subscribing. Your support helps us keep going.